All right, it is March 24th, and baseball is back. Well, kind of back. We played 2 regular season games overseas, but we're still playing spring training over here. Baseball's opening day schedule is a little confusing. How you have to, I get the overseas games, but how you have those 2 games overseas, then you basically wait a full week until you give us, the real start of the regular season. I don't get it. And to have most of the games on Thursday, then only a few games on Friday, give us the both days. Treat this like March Madness is on right now. Let it continue. Give me the full slate of games Thursday, Friday. Give me an excuse not to go to work. Make the opening of baseball exciting. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the AL East and how it shapes up for this season. Last year, 3 teams made the playoffs, with the Orioles, Blue Jays, and Rays, with the Yankees coming up above 500 and the Red Sox finishing just outside of 500. And for this season, Fangraphs has projected all 5 teams of the AL East to be above 500. This is going to be a competitive division, and probably the most competitive division in the majors. And these teams are going to beat each other up. So let's start with the Orioles. They finished 101-61 last year. Overachieved, I think many would think. And this year, projections have them anywhere from 85 to 86 wins. Bet365, however, has their total wins for 2024 set at 90.5. Now, the Orioles are a young team with exciting young players who exceeded expectations last year. And normally when you have some surprises with performance, you'd expect some regression, both how young the Orioles are. You could imagine the scenario where they actually get better. These young players are going to continue to develop. Yeah, sure, maybe 1 or 2 of them maybe hit a sophomore wall or take a step back, but for the most part, they should be as good at a minimum, in my belief. And not only that, they also have the top prospect in baseball in Jackson Holliday, who played pretty well this spring and will be coming up at some point in time. So the Orioles are just going to keep on getting better. They're pitching from last year to this year. They've added Corbin Burns, who's going to be a boost to that rotation. And Kyle Bradish will be coming back, I think, in the first half of the year. So the rotation should be similar, if not better again this year. For Vegas to be projecting them to win 10 less games this year, this to me seems like the biggest outlier of all the over-under bets. And I love the Orioles over 90.5 wins. The Tampa Bay Rays finished 99-63 last year, and the projections have them in the 86 win range. Bet365 has the Tampa Bay win total at 84.5 this year. Now, the Rays have had a ton of turnover. They lost a lot of pitching and talent this year, but they still boast one of the deepest lineups. And the Rays are just, every time I write them off, they just have this magical pipeline of players who just come up and just play ball immediately. It is very frustrating at the amount of talent that comes to this Rays organization. Will they come close to 99 wins again? I don't think so. And I probably wouldn't bet under their 84 total, but I wouldn't be confident going over either. 84.5 seems about right. It seems a bit of a step back, but they will still be very competitive. And for all I know, the Rays could easily win 90 games this year and make it into the postseason. But who knows? We'll see. That's a lot of change they have to deal with this year, so we'll see how they handle it. The Toronto Blue Jays also made the playoffs last year with an 89-73 record. Their projections for the year are between 85 to 88, and with Bet365 have them at 87.5, which is a little bit surprising to me given their offseason. The Blue Jays came out guns firing that they were going to go after Shohei Ohtani, and for all that we know, they were runners-up in the process. But after ownership approved them as staggering on money for Shohei, they could not justify that money for anybody else who is a free agent. Shohei's his own beast. There's obviously a lot of money he pulls in through sponsorships and media and stuff like that. But the fact that the Jays didn't have a little something left to maybe go after a Cody Bellinger. Yes, there's some StatCast, worries with his numbers. And originally he wanted $200 million. He didn't get anywhere near that. So I felt like his price came down to a range that the Blue Jays would have been comfortable with. But it sounds like they weren't all that interested. Instead, we lose Matt Chapman, Brandon Belt, and we bring in IKF and Justin Turner. So kind of a wash on the position player plan. You could argue we got worse. Justin Turner is a solid veteran who's still pretty potent with the bat, but I don't know how much defense he's going to be playing on this team. The Jays, you could argue, underperformed last year with their 89 record. Their pitching staff was great, but their offense did not live up to expectations. So you could almost, it's almost like Ross Atkins is banking on some positive regression for the Jays. Vladdy and Springer and Dalton Varsho can all stand to have significantly better seasons. The Jays are probably hoping some of these fringe roster players like Davis Schneider, Ernie Clement, the aforementioned IKF, Turner, Votto, Vogelbach, some of these will, step up and take on a regular role and play a significant part on this team. We'll see. Joey Votto is a fun story. Yes, he's old. Yes, he didn't have the greatest season last year. And yes, he's Canadian, so people feel a different way about it. But he is a Hall of Fame player, and if anyone's gonna, be able to rebound, it's Votto. And what a story would be if Votto comes in, provides some of that veteran leadership, and gets the Jays in the playoffs, and gets them a win in the playoffs. Like, man, the last few years have been disappointing for the Jays. But anyways, their 87.5 total feels about right. With how competitive this division is going to be, I would not feel comfortable betting the over on the Jays. The New York Yankees finished last season at 82-80. They are projected for around 89 to 94 wins this year, with their Vegas total being 91.5. So everyone's expecting big rebound from the Yankees. And again, if you remember last year, they suffered from a lot of injuries. So they're hoping health will be on their side this season. Anytime you sign Juan Soto to pair him with Aaron Judge, there's going to be a lot of excitement around your team. But there is some question marks. Garrett Cole's going to be out for a while. You signed Marcus Stroman. I love Stroman. Listen, I love Stroman. I've always been a fan of Marcus Stroman. I think he's a great pitcher. But if you want to look at numbers and sample size, he currently has a 6.06 ERA at Yankee Stadium. Mind you, that's always been pitching against the Yankees lineup. But the AL East has a lot of sluggers, and he's going to be facing a lot of them at Yankee Stadium. So, again, hope Stroman succeeds, but the sample size we currently have on him isn't necessarily the greatest, where he's going to be pitching the majority of his games. Nestor Cortez, Carlos Rodon should both be healthy this year, and hopefully they're, back to their effective selves for the Yankees. Stanton and Rizzo could also be healthier and, have some performance rebounds. So we'll see. I feel like the Yankees, on paper it looks great, but there is a lot of question marks. In the AL East, not all these teams can win 87, 89, 90-plus games, and someone's got to go under. The Yankees at 91.5. To me, I don't know if I'd play it, but I would lean towards the under on that. I think that number is a little pumped up due to the market and landing Juan Soto. And, just like any team, there's always going to be health concerns and stuff like that. And with the Yankees coming off so many injuries last year, they all got to get back and they all got to show that they're still effective. So I think enough can go right for them to make the playoffs, but just miss that total number. Last up, we have the Boston Red Sox. Finished last year at 78-84. They're projected for 81-ish wins this season. And Bet365 has their over-under at 79.5. I think it's pretty safe to say the Red Sox will be the worst team in the division. They did not, you can make a case, they arguably got worse after the offseason. They lost Chris Sale, Justin Turner, James Paxton, Verdugo. Not all of them necessarily got replaced. I think they're banking on some of these young players to come up and step up. But until we see it, I don't know. When you look at the other teams in the division, Boston clearly looks like they're a bit of a step behind. I think their projection of 81 wins is quite generous. I'd definitely take a look at taking the under of 79.5. So to recap my little division preview, Baltimore, I believe, will win this division again, and the over 90.5 looks like a pretty safe bet. The Yankees, Rays, Blue Jays will all be competing for probably 1 to 2 additional playoff spots, similar to last year, and then the Red Sox will round up the division. Let me know in the comments, who do you think will win the AL East this year, and which one of these team totals are you playing? Peace out, everyone. We'll see you on the next video.